Hi everybody, welcome to Vijasa Foundation. My name is Manoj Swaminathan and today I'm going to talk about the need for pharmacovigilance audits. I'm using the word audits and not inspections. So inspections, it is the need for the regulatory agency. So as a company you wouldn't have any choice. However, conducting an audit is the company's choice or the marketing authorization holder's choice, right? So we will learn about this in detail. So why are pharmacovigilance audits required? First and foremost, it is for ensuring compliance, and that is the primary objective. To ensure that yes, the pharmacovigilance activities are going on properly and the department is well compliant, right? So the department or the pharmacovigilance system can undergo an inspection anytime and there won't be any major or critical observations. So this is the most important and this is the primary objective, and that is to ensure compliance. So when you say compliance, that would mean with regards to the quality management system, with regards to the pharmacovigilance systems, the various standard operating procedures, the various activities, and also the compliance as against the required regulations, right? So if you have the US FDA regulations and they prescribe something, and is the pharmacovigilance department undertaking all those activities properly, right? So all those things are required. What are other reasons? Right? Meeting company regulatory obligations or commitments. So this is very essential, wherein if a regulatory agency prescribes some requirements for pharmacovigilance, the company has to adhere to it. So this is very essential. And as a company, you need to keep on monitoring by auditing. Say you can get in an internal auditor, or else you can get an external consultant auditor who would look into the systems and say yes, the systems are good, or else how can you make the system more robust, that what all things can be done and what all new things can be incorporated into the system so that you can clear the next inspection, right? So this is also one of the reasons for conducting a pharmacovigilance audit. What can be the other reasons? Evolving regulatory requirements or obligations, right? So this is never ending. Every new country comes up with a new pharmacovigilance regulation every year, right? Or in 1 year, there may be multiple countries coming up with new pharmacovigilance regulations, or else the well-regulated countries may keep on updating their pharmacovigilance requirements. So this is one very important reason why there may be a need for pharmacovigilance audit, just to ensure that you are compliant with the latest requirements, right? So extremely important. I'll give an example that a regulatory agency suddenly asks for companies to maintain a PSMF, and say the marketing authorization holder was unaware that this new requirement has come. So this is where the auditor may play a very useful role and advise that yes, you need to do this. Now for this, the company also needs to have a very good regulatory intelligence mechanism or pharmacovigilance regulatory intelligence mechanism, so that they are abreast with the latest pharmacovigilance requirements, right? So that is extremely important. So this is a very important need for conducting the pharmacovigilance audits, that is evolving pharmacovigilance regulatory requirements. Now, this is another important reason for conducting pharmacovigilance audit, and that is increasing regulatory inspections. In the past, all regulatory inspections used to be on site, and now the regulators are open to undertake the audits remotely or the inspections remotely. As a result, the number of inspections are bound to increase, right? The inspectors don't need to spend time on travel. So, virtually every day they can conduct an inspection. As a result, the number of inspections are bound to increase, and if there are more inspections, then more the possibility that you may get inspected. So, as a result, you need to ensure that your systems are robust and also you can sustain a regulatory inspection. So this is again one important reason for undertaking pharmacovigilance audits. Then another reason can be to identify process or quality improvements. So if you are working on your pharmacovigilance department or say your pharmacovigilance systems, with time you will not be able to identify the gaps. And if they are the same people who are managing the systems, then they wouldn't be able to identify gaps in their own systems, right? So that is why you need a third eye, or you can get somebody external who can look into your systems and advise that okay, this is something which can be improved, or this is something which has to change, or this is something which you have to add, or say start something new, right? So all those things can happen. So this is also one important reason to undertake a pharmacovigilance audit, and that is to identify the process or the quality improvements. So this can be within the pharmacovigilance function, or it can even be with the allied stakeholders, or the allied functions like the regulatory affairs, quality, say at times even marketing, right, and so on. Uh, Many times it may be even related to pharmacovigilance training, right, and even it can be related to say PSMF or even the QPPV services. So all those things can trigger the need for the improvement. Continuous inspection readiness. This is the among the most important, right? So every company or the marketing authorization holder wants to clear all the pharmacovigilance inspections, or for that matter, any inspection, right? Be it GMP or GDP. So it is extremely essential that the inspection readiness is on a daily basis, right? So nowadays inspectors walk in, right? You wouldn't have an announcement, or they wouldn't even tell you that okay, we may come today or tomorrow or something. They will just walk in. If you are very lucky, then they may call you up say 1 or 2 days before and ask for the address, or to ensure your availability. And in the past what used to happen is the inspectors would contact you well in advance because of the visa requirements, that your company would need to facilitate a letter, and based on that the inspector will then be able to get the visa to your country and then come and inspect you, right? So nowadays it is a walk-in, and you wouldn't get any notice. And even if you are on leave, you may need to have some other person managing the pharmacovigilance inspection. At least, say if you are able to join on the second or the third day, that should be okay. But then, even in your absence, the pharmacovigilance inspection should succeed. So that is what your management would expect from you. So this is again one very important reason that a department, a pharmacovigilance department, should be inspection ready at all times, right? So today, if you are willing to inspect me, then I am going to succeed. So this should be your attitude, right? What else? Products and circumstances. So this can be very complex. I'll give you some examples that say a company has introduced some new products, and say the new products may have risk minimization measures, or else uh, these are products which are under monitoring, right? So this may be very important. Or else the company has introduced a product for the first time, right? First time in the market, or it's a new company and they have launched a product in a regulated market for the first time. So even that can happen. Or else there is a product recall, a well established company, and there is a product recall, and be it due to a safety reason, right? That say a 100 milligram tablet, and it was found that the tablets were of 200 milligrams, right? So that can be dangerous at times. So if you're talking about medicines with narrow therapeutic index, it can be much more dangerous. So the inspector wants to understand whether there are adverse events, and is the company hiding any adverse events, right? So these can also be reasons for inspections, and that is why you need to be well prepared. Then there can be safety issues in the department. So this can be, I'll give an example that the company did not submit aggregate safety reports on time, right? The inspector now knows that this is happening, and if the company also knows this, then yes, they would undertake an audit and ensure that they are ready for the upcoming inspection, right? So more the safety issues, more the chances of having an inspection. Then the last is too many complaints, too many product complaints, right? Uh, Say there are too many lack of efficacy cases with your product, and the regulator comes to know. Then they would monitor, and one fine day come for inspection. At the same time, as a pharmacovigilance department person, you would also understand that yes, there are too many complaints these days, so I need to be ready, right? So again, you would ensure readiness with regards to pharmacovigilance inspections by undertaking an audit of your own systems. Apart from this, you also need to evaluate whether you are getting complacent. So this is why, because sometimes inspections may not happen very frequently. The inspectors are also busy at times, and once you launch a product, you may not have an inspection for 4 or 5 years. So these are not uncommon. Trust me, not very uncommon that you don't get inspected for long periods of time. So it is possible that you may get complacent. You become very overconfident that yes, I'm going to clear all inspections. You may be right, but then you need a third person to look into it, right? Extra pair of eyes to confirm that yes, your understanding is correct. So this is very important reason. At times, even the management may feel that there has not been any pharmaceutical inspection for so many years. So let me say hire an external auditor, somebody who would look into systems and tell that everything is good. So that gives a confidence to the management. So this is very important reason. Apart from this, the regulations also suggest that companies should say undertake frequent or at least periodic pharmacovigilance audits. And if in case you have got vendors and distributors or business partners, that the company should also undertake periodic audits of these vendors, distributors, or business partners. Again, you need to do it following the risk-based approach, have an audit universe, and demonstrate that you have done these things on time. And if in case you have missed doing any audit, what did you also provide some justification? So this is also something which the inspector would like to see. And trust me that companies do get major and critical observations for not undertaking audits. So that's something very important. I'll give an example where one company had, say, 4 or 5 distributors which were categorized as high risk, and they had scheduled some inspections or sorry audits in the year 2021, and due to some reasons, probably the COVID hangover or something, the company could not undertake any of these audits. And when they had the inspection, they didn't have a valid justification. And as a result, they got a critical observation. So this is something which can happen in the real time, right? So this is also one very important reason. So what did we learn today? We learned about the need for pharmacovigilance audits. And when I say audit, I really mean it. I'm not talking about inspections. It is only about the audits, which can be internal or uh, through an external consultant. And a company needs to ensure that they are pharmacovigilance inspection ready at all times, right? So I trust you found this to be useful. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions. And if you're interested in any new topics, then feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you and have a nice day.